Hello there, welcome back to Beauty Bee, and welcome to my Ride or Die makeup tag. I was tagged by Breakfast and Fallout, so thank you so much for that tag, and I am really excited to get into this. The idea of this is pretty simple. You just talk about your favorite products in each category. Now, there are certain categories where I haven't tried a huge variety of different products. Foundation immediately pops to mind, as does powder. And there are other categories where I just don't care that much. Setting spray pops to mind for that one, bronzer. So I'm only going to go over, I would say, maybe 10 categories. I will, of course, have Breakfast and Fallout's channel as well as the original creator of this tag's channel linked down in my description box. I hope you will go check their videos out. But let's get into it. Starting with what I would apply first to my face, which is primer. I don't wear a whole lot of base makeup. Foundation, concealer, powder, anything like that is kind of special occasion makeup for me, but I do wear primer almost every day, and this one has quickly become my favorite. This is the Porefessional Hydrate Primer from Benefit. It is a little bit moisturizing, it's a little bit pore filling. I find that it smooths my skin out enough and provides enough moisture that I feel like I'm getting the benefits of a moisturizer and a pore-filling primer in one. I think that the reason this works for me so well is that I have really quite normal skin. It's not super dry, so I don't really need intense hydration, and it's not super oily, so I don't have huge pores that really need filling. This just strikes a nice balance, and it feels delightful going on. I am not usually one to purchase higher end makeup unless it's on serious sale, but when I found this on Ulta's 21 Days, I had already been considering purchasing it at the full price because I liked the samples that I'd used of it so much. As previously mentioned, I don't have any other base products, so now let's move to eyes. And the one eyeshadow primer product that I would really strongly recommend is the Nyx Glitter Primer. Now, I just use whatever primer is cheapest at the drugstore. Usually, I like to buy the Wet n Wild one. I've gone through, I think, 3 tubes of that at least. Right now, I'm using the Milani one, and they work. Again, my skin's pretty normal. My eyelids are included in that. I'll get some creasing, but nothing insane without eyeshadow primer, so I just need something to lay down to stop a little bit of creasing and to just improve the longevity of my eyeshadow. This is the product that has made the biggest difference for me with my eyeshadow wear and application. This is the NYX Glitter Primer, and I find that this is just a game changer for me. I had so many shades scattered throughout my collection that had glitter in them. I'm thinking I had some really lovely ColourPop Super Shocks that I just never used because I would end up with fallout everywhere, and this made them usable. It made them easy to use. I find that I can create glitter liners for myself by using this over just a black liquid liner and then adding some glitter or just like a really shifty duochromatic shade, and I get beautiful effects out of it. This is one of the few products that has really, I think, broadened the spectrum of looks that I can achieve, and I'm really impressed with it. Now, I have not tried any other glitter glues, so I can't really compare them, but I think this is more or less the only one that's widely available in store at the drugstore. I don't think I've seen any from any other drugstore brands that you can actually purchase in store. And I have no desire to go out and try, say, the Too Faced one for $20 when I think I got this one for like $6. Sticking with eyeshadow, we'll move to a lot of what I'm wearing today actually, which is from the ColourPop The Child palette. Now, I haven't had this palette for super long. I've had it for maybe 3 months or so, I would say. So I'm not all that confident saying that this is my ride or die yet, but as I was looking over my collection, this was the one that just kept coming up. I think a big part of why I love this so much is just that it has Baby Yoda on it. Grogu's adorable, love him. I am the Amy Sedaris character every time that Grogu comes on screen. It's like, let me hold him, let me mother him, let me nurture him. He's adorable, love him so much. But that is not the only, bright side of this palette. First of all, it has a really adorable mirror. Grogu again. But the color scheme is beautiful. I love this sort of dusty, neutral take on a green palette. This column of warmer shades, I think, gives a lot of interesting dimension to the palette. It really opens up a wider variety of looks. And I love a silvery shade, and Right Hand Mando is right up my alley. These greens are beautiful, and everything in this palette performs so well. I am really impressed with both this and the Mandalorian palette. It really makes me happy that ColourPop did right by Star Wars. If I were told I could only use one palette for the rest of my life, it would not be this one. I mean, it's a green palette. I'm not sure I want to wear green eyeshadow every day until I die, but it is really beautiful, and it definitely was what kept coming to my mind again and again as I was thinking about what my favorite palette is. Let's shift gears now and talk about my favorite single eyeshadow, and that is Pinup from Tarte. It is a pearly shade. It's white with quite a bit of gold and a little bit of pink sheen to it. It is really pretty. I use this as a brow bone highlight. I'll use it on my inner corner. I'll use it to lighten up deeper shades. Sometimes I'll just put a matte shade all over my lid, and then I will put this shade starting in my inner corner and just work it out, and it ends up creating this really lovely gradient effect where my eye look gets deeper and less shimmery as you move out from my inner corner towards my outer V. The formula on this is very smooth. It's almost velvety. I just dropped that. I really hope it didn't break. Say a quick prayer, everybody. It's fine. Thank goodness. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll use this as a face highlight too. It's a wonderfully formulated, easy to use, basic in the best kind of way eyeshadow. I mean, I use this so often. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I've used this eyeshadow like 57 times or something. It's a lot. I find myself using it constantly because it's just such a good basic. As far as mascara or brow products go, I didn't pull one. I really don't have a strong opinion about any brow products, and while there are definitely mascaras that I hate, mascaras that did not work for me at all, I'm thinking like Essence Lash Princess or L'Oreal Voluminous, both of which gave me major raccoon eyes. There really isn't a single one that stands out above the rest. I think right now my favorite is probably the IT Cosmetics Lash Blowout, but it's not a strong favorite. It's not something that I would pay any more to get than some of the CoverGirl ones. So I guess that was the long way of saying it's time to transition into face products. Blush was the one category where I didn't feel like I could get it down to just one product. So I picked too. And the vibe on these is just so different that it didn't seem like I could compare them at all. So let's talk this Pacifica blush first. This is their Wild Rose blush. Unfortunately, I think that these are discontinued. I saw them on sale on the Pacifica site, and I saw them on clearance or just not available anymore at some other sites, which is really a downer. But like I said, this one is in the shade Wild Rose. I think there was another shade, but I have never seen it in person. And this is almost a hybrid between a blush and a highlighter. It's very glowy. I like this really indeterminate color. It reads as it's sort of a neutral on me. It definitely has some pink in there. You can see some brown. I see a little bit of peach. When I put this on, my face looks complete. It looks like I'm wearing blush and highlighter and maybe even a little bit of bronzer on my cheeks. And it's just very healthy and glowy looking. It's really pretty. I am super happy with this little powder, and this is something that I got in some kind of kit. It's not something I ever would have thought to pick up myself. I would have thought that it was too deep and too glowy, but it's really lovely. Super happy that I ended up with that. And then the other blush, we're going on an entirely different end of the spectrum. This is the shade Night Bloom from ColourPop, and it is so cool toned and so bright. While I think that Wild Rose would probably be pretty flattering on a wide variety of skin tones, I could imagine Night Bloom looking pretty nightmarish on some people. I would be really interested if you have a lot of yellow tones to your skin. Do you have this and does it work? Because it is definitely a choice. It is quite the color, but I think that on my skin tone, this is beautiful. It looks fresh, it looks pretty. That is not showing up in the swatch, which is probably part of why I like it, is that it's a bold color, but it's relatively easy to control because it isn't crazy pigmented on first swipe. It has some lilac to it. It's just a really lovely color, so unique, and even more than Wild Rose from Pacifica, this is a color that I would not have thought would work on me, but I saw it on Makeup with Lainey has it. Looks beautiful on her, and I decided that I wanted to pick it up as well. And I've been really pleased with it, clearly, since it is in my favorites video. One more cheek product, and then we will move to lips, and we are going to Wet n Wild. Have we talked about anything from Wet n Wild yet? That's actually kind of surprising to me. I have a lot of Wet n Wild in my collection, but my favorite highlighter is from this highlighting palette. It's their Mega Glow highlighting formula. These are the ones that you can get in the square compacts. And my favorite shade, as you can probably guess from looking at the pans, is this white shade. This is White Lily. And I love a white highlight. I find that it is super flattering on me. It's easy to wear. And this has a little bit of a pink purple to it that I think is beautiful. I feel like in my swatch it's looking pretty powdery, but I don't find that on the skin, and I think you can tell once I blend that out a little bit, that powdery effect really does fade down, and I really don't run into that when I apply it with a brush. Just such a nice glow. I like this cool toned shine. That's something I'm really drawn to in a variety of different colors, and it's just really a lovely highlighter. The formula on these is not just 450 good. I think 450 is around what these individual compacts go for. They're just good, period. And the colors are lovely. I had to get rid of the brown. It didn't work on me. It was much too deep. And I have a little bit of a hard time with this gold, but the formula on these is so nice that I can work with this gold, even though it is quite a bit deeper than my skin tone. And now we get to lip products. This is definitely my favorite category of makeup. Unless you count individual pans of eyeshadow, I certainly have more lip products than any other category of makeup. So these are real hardcore favorites. And the first one is what I am wearing today. This is from Dior, and it is their Rouge Dior 999 in the satin formula. I believe that they have this color in pretty much all of the formulas that they make. It is sort of their classic red. I think this is just a really spot on color for me. I love this sort of tomato-y but not too orangey take on red. It just feels really classic and bold, old Hollywood. It's comfortable to wear because it is a satin formula, but I find that it wears pretty well. I don't have a lot of problems with this getting on my chin. I find that I can even eat with this on and it will still look okay by the end of the meal. It will not look perfect, but I find that it tends to wear down pretty evenly and relatively attractively. You know, you don't go into the restroom after dinner and just jump at your reflection. Overall, it's just a really lovely lipstick. I love the compact. I love that it's from Dior. Maybe that's shallow, but it makes me feel very luxe. And it smells great. I got this from Influencer. And I will admit, it is not the kind of thing that I would have thought to purchase, because I, 95% of the time, am of the opinion that there's no way super luxe makeup can be worth it. However, when I run out of this, not if, when I run out of this, I would be tempted to buy another one. I'm not 100% sure that I will yet, but I would say that it's more likely than not that I will end up with another Rouge 999. It's just a lovely, lovely lipstick. And then finally, we have lip gloss. I like to wear lip gloss by itself rather than layered over a lipstick. I will layer it over lipstick or a lip liner on occasion, but I prefer one that you can wear by itself and look complete. I tend to like ones that aren't very sticky. I like them on a little bit on the thinner side, and while I want there to be some color with them, I'm not interested in the kind of upkeep or maintenance that's required with a really full color gloss. And one that just ticks all of the boxes for me is this NARS lip gloss. These are the oil infused lip tints. And the one that I pulled out is the one I'm working on panning this year. This is Primal Instinct. I'm not panning this because I loathe it or want to get a new one. It's just I don't want this to go bad before I get to use it up because it is so lovely. You'll see that it gathers a little bit at the edges. I find that I do experience that on my lips, but once I just kind of rub my lips together, that evens itself out pretty well. While there is some color to it, there is not a ton. This is not a line that I would recommend, buying all of, because you're probably not going to see that much color difference between the individual shades. But I own 3 of them. I got them all in a set from Nordstrom Rack at a very nice discount, and I really like all 3. I find that they're a really nice thin formula. I'm trying to think, these have a scent. but I couldn't tell you what it is. It's a little bit sweet, but pretty inoffensive, and it doesn't really linger. Really, really nice lip gloss. I'm super, super happy with it. And with that, we have the Ride or Die tag. Thank you to Breakfast and Fallout for tagging me. I really appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and that you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. Again, definitely go check out Breakfast and Fallout's channel, and I hope that I will see you all back again in my next video. Bye!